Thailand is pricing itself out of existence while Vietnam and Malaysia are stealing its tourists at half the cost. The country that invented Land of Smiles tourism is watching its crown slip away. But is it too late to save it, or are we watching the end of an era? Thailand is pricing itself out of the tourism market, and if things don't change in the next 2 years, Vietnam and Malaysia are going to completely dominate Southeast Asia travel. I know that sounds harsh, but stay with me because what I'm about to show you will change how you think about traveling to Thailand forever. I've been coming to Thailand for 8 years now. I've spent 14 months here total, living and traveling across Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, and Koh Samui. I've eaten at street carts where locals eat. I've stayed in hostels and 5-star hotels. I've watched this country transform from the king of Southeast Asian tourism into something very different. And not in a good way. Let me paint you a picture. 3 weeks ago, I walked into a basic beach bungalow on Koh Samui. The paint was peeling. The Wi-Fi kept cutting out. There was no air conditioning, just a fan that sounded like a helicopter taking off. The walls were so thin, I could hear my neighbors talking like they were in my room. You know what I paid for that experience? $180 for a single night. Last month, I stayed in a beachfront villa in Da Nang, Vietnam with a private pool and breakfast included for $95. Let that sink in for a moment. The numbers tell an even bigger story. Back in 2019, Thailand welcomed almost 40 million international tourists. It was the superstar of Southeast Asia, the place everyone wanted to visit. Fast forward to 2024, and something has shifted. Vietnam saw tourist arrivals jump by 73% compared to the year before. Malaysia just announced they're aiming for 35 million visitors by 2026. They're coming for Thailand's crown, and they might actually take it. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Tourists aren't just choosing Vietnam and Malaysia as backup options anymore. They're picking these countries first. They're telling their friends to skip Thailand and go somewhere else. I see it in travel groups online every single day. Someone asks where to go in Southeast Asia, and the comments flood in with everywhere except Thailand. This isn't about being negative or tearing down a country I love. This is about honesty. Thailand has problems right now, real problems that affect your wallet and your experience. The food costs more. The hotels cost more, the tours cost more, everything costs more, but the quality hasn't gone up to match those prices. In fact, in many places it's gotten worse. The beaches are more crowded. The scams are still happening. The infrastructure is struggling to keep up. I'm making this video because I care about Thailand. This place has given me incredible memories and life-changing experiences. But love means being honest, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Thailand is at a crossroads right now, and the decisions made in the next 18 months will determine whether it stays on top or watches its neighbors take over the tourism game completely. Let me show you exactly what's broken, starting with your wallet. When you sit down at a tourist restaurant in Bangkok and order pad thai, you're going to pay somewhere between 250 and 350 baht. That's 7 to 10 American dollars for one plate of noodles. Walk into a local restaurant in Hanoi's Old Quarter and order the same amount of food, $2. I've eaten both of these meals with my own money in the past 3 months, so I'm not guessing here. Want a massage after a long day of walking around? In Patong Beach on Phuket, you'll hand over 500 to 800 baht, which comes out to $14 to $23. Cross the border into Vietnam and go to Hoi An, $6 for the same 1-hour massage. The pattern repeats everywhere you look. Island hopping tours around Phi Phi Islands will run you $75 to $120 per person for the day. Take that same trip in El Nido in the Philippines, and you're looking at $25 to $35. A decent hotel room in Chiang Mai's Old City costs $60 to $90 every night. That same level of comfort in Luang Prabang, Laos runs $35 to $50. Penang, Malaysia sits right in the middle at $40 to $55. Thailand always cost a bit more than its neighbors, but you used to get something special for that extra money. Now you're paying top dollar for middle-of-the-road everything. The buildings and roads tell their own sad story. I went to Pattaya Beach in February of this year. This place used to shine as one of Thailand's crown jewels. Now the beach is skinny and covered in trash. Vendors swarm you every few minutes, pushing corn on the cob, cheap sunglasses, and aggressive jet ski rentals. Walking Street feels chaotic and worn down, like a party that went on too long. Fly up to Nha Trang in Vietnam, and you'll find clean sand, a modern walkway along the water, and public areas that someone actually takes care of. Plus, it costs less. Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi airport handles millions of travelers every year. Stand in the immigration line during peak hours and watch the minutes tick by. 90 minutes. Sometimes 2 full hours just to get your passport stamped. Singapore's Changi Airport moves people through in less than 20 minutes on average. The BTS SkyTrain in Bangkok hasn't added enough cars even though the city keeps growing. Ride it at 6 in the evening on a Tuesday and you'll understand what being a sardine feels like. The scams haven't gone anywhere either. Thailand is generally a safe country, but certain tricks keep running year after year. Rent a jet ski in Phuket or Pattaya, and when you bring it back, suddenly there's damage you never made. The owner demands $1,500 to $3,000. This exact scam has been documented for more than a decade. Local police know about it. It still happens. Last month, I took a taxi from Siam to my hotel near Asok Station in Bangkok. The driver looked at me and refused to use his meter. He wanted 600 baht for a ride that should cost 180. When I pushed back, his whole mood turned dark and threatening. The Grand Palace gem scam still tricks tourists every week. Tuk-tuk drivers still offer special temple tours that end at overpriced jewelry shops. Compare this to Japan, where people return lost wallets with all the cash still inside, or Vietnam, where Grab and other apps killed the taxi scam problem in big cities. Then there's the mood shift, which hurts the most to talk about. Thailand called itself the land of smiles, and for years that wasn't just marketing. That warmth was real. But spend time in the heavy tourist zones now, and you feel something different. Restaurant workers in Patong look worn out and sometimes flat out annoyed. Servers barely make eye contact unless you're ordering the priciest thing on the menu. I'm not saying Thai people became mean, that's not true. But when 40 million tourists flood into a country of 70 million people every single year, something breaks. Drive out to Dalat or Quai Non in Vietnam and locals still light up when they see international faces. You feel welcome instead of just tolerated. For people thinking about staying long-term, these problems get bigger. Visa rules got more complicated and expensive. The digital nomad scene in Chiang Mai is shrinking because prices went up while red tape increased. Portugal, Mexico, and even Bali now offer better visa options and more value for remote workers who can live anywhere. Okay, I need to slow down here and give you the full picture because this story has more sides than I've shown you so far. Thailand isn't failing because people stopped caring or because the country forgot how to do tourism. There are real reasons behind what's happening, and some of them aren't Thailand's fault at all. Think about what this country went through during the pandemic. Tourism revenue dropped from $60 billion in 2019 down to just $10 billion in 2020. That's not a small dip. That's an economic earthquake. Restaurants closed forever. Hotels sat empty for months. Tour guides had no work. Families lost their income. The price increases we're seeing now aren't just greed. Some of it is businesses trying to survive, trying to make up for years of earning nothing. When you've been on the edge of losing everything, you charge what you need to stay alive. The whole world dealt with inflation too, and Thailand got hit hard. Gas prices went up. Construction materials cost more. Everything imported from other countries became more expensive. Those costs don't just disappear. They get passed down to the hotels, the restaurants, and eventually to you, and the crowding problem. That's actually Thailand being too good at its job. The country became so popular that 40 million people wanted to come every year. The roads and airports were built for half that many people. But here's what Vietnam and Malaysia and the Philippines can't copy no matter how hard they try. The food in Thailand exists on a level that's hard to explain unless you've really experienced it. I've eaten incredible meals across Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Each country has its own amazing food traditions. But Thailand's food scene has a depth that stands alone. From a 30 baht bowl of noodles in a Bangkok alley to restaurants with Michelin stars, the quality stays high everywhere you go. Last month, I walked into a tiny restaurant in Bangkok's Talat Plu neighborhood. Zero tourists, just local people eating lunch. I ordered tom yum soup, and this elderly woman, probably 70 years old, brought it to my table. The first spoonful stopped my brain. The lemongrass, the galangal, the lime leaves, the perfect balance of sour and spicy and savory, all hitting at once. I actually stopped talking mid-sentence because the flavors demanded my full attention. You don't learn to make food like that from a recipe book. That's generations of knowledge passed down through families. The culture here runs deep too, walking through Wat Pho Temple at sunrise before the crowds arrive. Watching monks in orange robes collect morning alms in Chiang Mai's quiet streets. Joining a festival in a rural village where everyone welcomes you like family. These moments haven't been fake or staged for cameras. There's still real authenticity here if you know where to look. The geography gives you everything in one country. Mountains in the north, where you can trek through rice terraces. Islands in the south, with some of the most beautiful water you'll ever see. Jungles in between, hiding waterfalls and caves. You can climb mountains, dive with whale sharks, and explore ancient ruins without leaving Thailand's borders. And despite everything I've criticized, most Thai people still carry that genuine warmth once you step outside the tourist traps. Last year, my scooter died on a back road in rural Isan. A family stopped their truck, helped me fix the problem, then invited me to their house for dinner. When I tried to pay them or give them money for gas, they refused and looked almost offended. That spirit hasn't disappeared. It's just harder to find in places where millions of tourists pass through every year. Thailand has survived tsunamis that destroyed entire coastlines. It's bounced back from economic crashes and political problems. It made it through a pandemic that killed the tourism industry completely for 2 years. Thai people are tough and creative. During the lockdowns, I watched street food vendors switch to delivery services. Traditional massage shops turned into wellness centers. Small hotels became long-term homes for remote workers. When problems arrive, people here figure out solutions. The creativity and the strength are real. Thailand has the tools to fix what's broken. The question is whether it will use them in time. So where does Thailand go from here? Because the path it's on right now won't work much longer. Some things need to change, and they need to change fast. First, the government needs to step in and control prices in tourist areas. If you can make everyone wear a helmet on a motorbike, you can stop restaurants from charging $10 for pad thai. Set fair price ranges for common services and actually enforce them. Make the fines big enough that businesses think twice before ripping off tourists. Second, pour money into fixing the infrastructure. Upgrade the airport so people don't wait 2 hours in line. Expand the trains so people aren't crushed together. Clean up the beaches. Fix the old buildings. Thailand makes enough money from tourism to pay for all of this. It's just a question of choosing to do it. Third, the scams have to stop completely. When someone gets caught running the jet ski damage scam, the punishment needs to hurt. Close the business down. Make it public so other scammers see what happens. Do the same for taxi drivers who refuse to use meters and tuk-tuk drivers who take tourists to gem shops. Zero tolerance means zero tolerance. Fourth, start limiting how many people can visit fragile places each day. They already did this at Maya Bay, and it's working. The beach is healing. Do this at more locations before they get destroyed. It's better to have fewer tourists who get an amazing experience than millions who see a crowded, dirty version of what used to be beautiful. Fifth, Make it easier for people who want to stay long-term. Portugal and Malaysia are rolling out the red carpet for digital nomads and retirees. Thailand should be competing for these people, not making it harder with complicated visa rules and endless paperwork. And sixth, show people there's more to Thailand than beaches. The north has incredible mountains and culture. The northeast has authentic experiences tourists rarely see. Stop pushing everyone toward the same 5 overcrowded destinations. Here's what I think happens next. If Thailand doesn't make these changes in the next 18 to 24 months, more and more tourists will choose Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines first. Not because those countries are better, but because they're easier and cheaper and cause fewer headaches. Budget travelers will switch first. Then the mid-range tourists. Eventually, even luxury travelers will start wondering if they're really getting what they pay for. Thailand will still get visitors because it's too beautiful and too famous to completely fail. But it won't be the king anymore. It'll be just another option on the list. And that would break my heart. I wouldn't spend this much time making this video if I didn't love Thailand deeply. This country gave me some of the best memories of my life. The night I spent on a Bangkok rooftop watching the sun paint the sky orange and pink over the city. The day I learned to make curry paste from scratch with a grandmother in Chiang Mai who barely spoke English, but taught me through patience and smiles. Swimming in hidden waterfalls in Krabi, where the water was so clear I could count the rocks on the bottom. Dancing on a beach in Koh Phangan until the sun came up, and everyone around me felt like old friends, even though we'd just met. Thailand has something magical that you can't find anywhere else. But love means telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. I want Thailand to succeed because I know it can. This country has everything it needs to stay on top. The resources are here. The talented people are here. The natural beauty is here. Thailand just needs to remember that tourism isn't about squeezing every dollar out of visitors. It's about creating experiences so incredible that people go home and tell everyone they know to book a ticket. So here's my question for you. If you've been to Thailand recently, what did you see? Are these problems real or am I wrong? And if you're planning a Southeast Asia trip soon, is Thailand still your first choice or are you looking at other countries now? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear real experiences from real travelers. If you want more honest videos about travel destinations where I tell you what's actually happening instead of just showing pretty pictures, hit that subscribe button. I'm not here to sell you dreams. I'm here to give you the truth. Thailand, I believe in you. Now show us what you can do.